this, and that's why, I mean, we talk about paying people to sequester CO2. Well, the farmers are already doing it. Why aren't they getting a subsidy for the 50% of CO2 they're taking out of the atmosphere?
Well, there's some environmental global warming wackos that think trees are producing CO2, and so they're bad. Do 5 more minutes with us, Doc, because I want you to be able to finish your thoughts and where you see this going. You seem to think they're losing steam. Stay with us.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Very, very exciting. We're going to have Dr. Ball in studio coming up in a few weeks here with us. I want to have him down here to discuss some things with us, and also for a eugenics film. I'm making a population control film after the current one I'm making. So definitely very, very important, very, very exciting. Okay, in closing, I've been throwing in my 2 cents quite a bit here. It seems that they're beginning to stall out. I mean, right as they get victories, right as they pass it in the House and it's going to the Senate, and they may be able even to even do that, they're going to have trouble implementing this, because when Nancy Pelosi and others lie and say it's about jobs, even their own white papers admit this is meant to shut down jobs. So where do you see their movement going?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One I mentioned was that the economy has refocused a lot of the politicians, and of course they're getting word from their constituents. And by the way, one thing I rely on, Alex, is there's a huge well of common sense in the ordinary people. They don't. Popeye said it all when he said, "I don't know how she does it, but she does it." So there's that underlying skepticism amongst the people, and things. One of the things that I've noticed is with the cooling that's been going on since 2000. Initially, they said, "Oh, well, it's just a one-year anomaly." Now they're saying, "Well, yeah, it's slight cooling, but it's just going to go back to warming again." And then when they were pushed on it, they said, "Well, no, but this cooling's due to warming." That was so illogical that even people that don't understand the science were saying, "Hang on a minute, hold on a minute here," and of course the fact that the cooling trend will continue, we'll see it again this winter. We'll see it with the harvest problems across the U.S. and the world that's going on right now. Canada, we're very, very late with our planting, and seeding's down about 27%.
And that's because of that big yellow thing in the sky. They say has nothing to do with heat.
Exactly. And by the way, that's another part of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They don't consider the sun as a factor because it's not, humans don't have control of it. Mm-hmm. And so these sorts of things are making the people start to realize, even though they don't understand, there's a lot of nonsense being sold.
But
here.
I mean, I see them on the news saying the sun has nothing to do with it. That is so asinine on its face. I mean, isn't the sun the main driver of temperature?
Totally. You pick up any meteorology or climate textbook, the very first thing they tell you is the source of energy for the atmosphere is the sun. And then these people proceed to ignore it. The analogy I've used, Alex, is it's like saying my car's not running very well, but I'm not going to look at the engine, which is the sun, and I'm not going to look at the transmission, which is water vapor, the most important greenhouse gas, and I'm going to ignore the differential. I'm going to look at one nut on the right rear wheel, which is CO2. And oh, by the way, I'm only going to look at one thread within that nut, which is the human portion of CO2, and that's how I'm going to resolve the problems with my car. It's that incredibly wrong in scientific terms. By the way, just one quick comment, Alex. A lot of people have forgotten that they had a world conference on population in 1994, and guess who was the organizer and keynote speaker? Was our friend Al Gore. Oh, yeah. So he's been at that game with the population thing for a long time, too. But, and of course, a lot of it grows out of, as we talked off the air, about the Club of Rome, limits to growth, and Paul Ehrlich and all of his wrong predictions. He's still out there making them.
Well, Dr. Ball, it won't hurt my feelings because I know you're a very busy man. You're also coming to town in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. But if you want to go ahead and get into him now, or if you need to leave, we can do it when you're in studio.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. We can do it either way.
Let's do one more segment, get into that, because you haven't gotten into their actual numbers and their statements on population control.
Right.
And we'll do one more segment with you. Then I'm going to take calls, folks, and cover a bunch of other news that we haven't gotten into. And I want to read the article that Paul Watson did, the Red Alert article. Also, that Buchanan saying climate bill is a transfer of wealth to world government. They're going all over YouTube removing that video. I've never seen them remove a video so fast. They are really scared of that, and people finding out this is a global tax. So we'll talk about that as well.
This is from his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You know, I had the Wall Street Journal here yesterday. No doubt it's going to be a critical piece. She was asking the guys back there during the breaks, does Alex ever scream at you? And they're like, no, not really. Are you sure? Nothing? Well, this is talk radio, but guys, am I not really nice to you guys compared to other talk radio people? No, but I'm not making you say that. You were just telling me about how, just Sunday you were telling me how mean somebody's been to you on another show. Don't say when. Were you not telling me that, Jaron? I mean, describe what regular talk show hosts are like to people. Tell the truth.
Worst of the worst. No.
I can barely hear you. You got to turn your audio up.
It's always heated. It's always heated up in here. Live radio is always tough, but it's.
Okay, I want the truth from you. Am I not a sweetheart compared to other hosts?
You're an angel.
Look, I've seen other hosts.
Some other hosts, yeah.
And I've seen them throw stuff, throw fits. I don't know why. That's because they get nervous being on air. My problem is I forget I'm on air and almost fall asleep half the time. I can get up before a crowd of 5,000 people and literally start falling asleep. I've done this so long and so much. I didn't get butterflies 13, 14 years ago when I'd get in front of crowds. And now it's not butterflies. It's, okay, I'm just so used to it. But anyways, now I've been demonized by the BBC. And then we'll cover this at the bottom of the hour. This just came out. Folks, I'm getting hit by national media every day. I said I was going to have Michelle Bachmann, the state the U.S. Congresswoman on because Ted Anderson knows one of her campaign people and was just going to call. He said, hey, you want Bachmann on? I know, we know her. And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, you'll probably get her on next week. Well, then that became Gawker, Minnesota newspapers. Will she go on Jones's show? Attacking me. And then they called her campaign manager. He said, well, I didn't know about that. And then it's like, Alex is a liar. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are being micromanaged and tracked, and everything we do being gone over with a white glove. It is really getting insane. By the way, Cynthia McKinney has been kidnapped by Israeli troops. Mike Rivero is the last person I know to interview her. We're going to get him on here in about 20 minutes to give us a quick update on what's happening with that. Going back to Dr. Tim Ball, climatologist. Doc, you were going to get into the overall population reduction agenda itself, that global warming is just the governmental, economic, energy straitjacket to, as you said, put a kink in the hose for the fuel for civilization. They get us under civilization, they get us urbanized, what they said by design, to control us and domesticate us. Then they start incrementally, like we're a HAL 9000, turning off the civilization. They're really just a bunch of control freaks. Break it down for us.
Yeah, just a quick comment on your question to your staff there. I think that what I get from you is that we can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. But anyway,
absolutely.
Beyond that, the whole idea about overpopulation, of course, starts with Malthus back in the 18th century and arguments that, the population's outgrowing the food supply and so on. One of the things that makes the U.S. so successful and so powerful is that it has been more successful in producing food to feed its people than any other nation on the planet. In fact, not only growing enough for itself, but exporting to the world. And from that surplus food, of course, comes surplus time, and you set up the civilization. What happens over time is that the population shift And right now you've got in the U.S. 2% of the population that are officially listed as farmers, about 18%, 20% rural population. But people move into the cities and they become disconnected from the food supply. And once of course, you're dependent upon